Hi Virgo and welcome to your horoscope for October 2024. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm based in the UK, so my horoscopes are based on the UK time zone. Please watch them in this order: rising sign, then sun sign, and finally your moon sign. And I'm going to break the month down into 4 weeks, and I'm going to pay particular attention to what the moon is doing, how it moves through your chart, and what areas it supports you on different days. So week 1, Tuesday the 1st to Sunday the 6th of October. On the 1st, the moon is in Virgo and it's in your first house of self. So you start the month with a real sense of being grounded, being on top of things, having your bearings. If there are things that are a little chaotic, it's a good day to get things organized, your calendar, your schedule, and to just get a nice overview that you feel empowered. On the 2nd and 3rd, it goes into Libra. And on the 2nd, we also have a new moon in Libra, and that's a solar eclipse. I've made a separate video on that and went into a lot of detail. So if you want more info on that, check out the video. But for you guys, Virgos, it happens in your second house of money. And Libra is very much a bridge. It's about connecting. And the new moon is when the moon is pitch black. It pulls a ton of energy in order to recharge itself for its next 28-day cycle. And your second house is money and your belongings, right? So you may find that you make connections or you have ideas that will allow you to change your financial circumstances for the better. So those 2 days, really pay attention to who comes in or what shows up, what ideas you get. It can have a really transformative effect on your finances. On the 4th, 5th, and 6th of October, the moon goes into Scorpio in your third house of communication, and it's next to Venus in Scorpio. So the focus is really going to shift, and I think you'll want to have some support and some intimate connection and to really spend time with people you're closest to, who you love the most, or to meet someone new, like going on a date. I think human interaction and contact is very important over these 3 days for you to feel fulfilled. But it's also good to do any healing work, to use your intuition, and to work creatively. So in this first week, the moon covers houses 1, 2, and 3. That's your first quadrant. That's the quadrant of self. First house is the self. Second is income and your belongings. And third house is perspective and communication and what you know, right? So the first week really is a good idea to get yourself in shape as far as the way you feel about yourself and your finances, to get really organized and to make plans for the future that will allow you a better experience in that area of your life. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 7th to 13th of October. On the 7th and 8th, the moon is in Sagittarius, and that's now in your 4th house of your roots, your belongings, your family. It's near the IC, so what really makes you feel home in life, right? And the moon in Sagittarius, your feeling, is very much about adventure and exploration. So for you, these are 2 good days to explore a place or a person or something new that could feel like home in future. You know, when you go on a trip and you visit certain places, some places really resonate and others don't. And, you know, people often say like, oh, I could see myself living here. So the 7th and 8th for you is to find that and to have that response, whether it's a place or a location or an area of study even, that makes you feel like, oh, this is where I'd like to be home. On the 9th and 10th, the moon goes into Capricorn, and it goes into your 5th house of what you love and children and romance, and it sits next to Pluto, especially on the 10th. Pluto is transformation and change, right? So these 2 days are interesting because you're going to see the topic of relationship, romantic relationship particularly, maybe as a lot of work. And you may feel like it's going to take a gargantuan effort to change the dynamic that you have in that area. But I really think it's by doing something that's fun and enjoyable for you and doing that in a space where potentially you could meet people. I think it will surprise you that if you're single and looking for love and romance, it will appear to you. But if you really hammer it and say, oh, this is a very difficult part of my life, I have to work at it very hard, then that's not going to work so much. Also on the 9th of October, we have Jupiter, the lucky planet, that retrogrades until the 4th of February next year. And I always mention that the outer planets, the experience when they're retrograde, you feel the energy internally. And for you, Virgo, I've got excellent news because Jupiter retrogrades in Gemini in your 10th house of work. So if you're self-employed or if you're in a job where it's about your ideas and your perspective and what you come up with, you're going to be flooded with information until February. and it's really going to support you very much in your work. So, Virgo, you're going to have a great month here in October when it comes to your working life. So work really hard at that, and don't take relationships as seriously because it's a light touch that's going to help you out the most there. On the 10th of October, we've got the moon in its second quarter, so it's waxing towards the full moon that we have on the 17th of October. So you'll have a lot of energy, but you may be a little frustrated if relationships around that time don't go as you want. So it's about going with the flow and staying away from anything that would be perceived as controlling or too intense. On the 11th and 12th, the moon goes into Aquarius in your 6th house. So again, that's a good day for ideas around how to make your daily routine, your structure better, so that you have more balance, so you're not working too hard or spending too much time unproductive or whatever feels out of balance. Those 2 days will really kind of help you achieve an equilibrium there if you focus on it. But on the 11th, we've got Pluto, the planet of transformation, going direct. And I made a video on Pluto going into Aquarius in January. It's a really significant thing as far as I'm concerned, because we're entering this 20-year era where Pluto is in Aquarius, except for this period that we're in now. It's last retrograde into Capricorn from September until the 19th of November. And for you, Pluto is in Capricorn in your 5th. So it's kind of, because Pluto in Capricorn is about unraveling structures that no longer work, right? So it's not about really forcing yourself to get something done. It's about possibly unraveling the perspective that, oh, romantic relationships have to be such hard work, and replace it with a sense that if I do things that I enjoy and that bring me joy, and if that's in an environment where other people are involved, like, I don't know, going into a swim club or basketball team or a book club or whatever, then that's the way to bring it in, and not through hammering yourself and putting yourself down. On the 13th of October, we've got the moon going into Pisces, and that's in your 7th house of relationships, and it sits next to Saturn in Pisces. So this is a day where I think you may be very generous and forgiving. So if there's anything where you're going against your better judgment, because you like the person or your feelings are saying, don't do this, call them up on it and instead just forgive and forget. Be very careful around that, because I get that on this day, it's an important, significant moment in a relationship where if you are too soft or too forgiving, the other person may then start to take advantage of that. So stay with the facts and figures on the 13th of October when the moon is in Pisces in your 7th. Okay, so in week 2, we started with the moon in Sagittarius. So it's moved through quadrant 2 now, houses 4, 5, and 6. So this is really what's nearest and dearest to my heart, my home, what I love, and what my daily life looks like and whether I love that or not. So the second week is really about devoting yourself to that part of your life, your own domestic home life, and trying everything that you can to take the pressure off and instead to do things that are fun, which ironically will bring you a much better outcome than hammering yourself into the ground with any of that. So I would say week 2, take it easy in terms of putting too much pressure on. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, 14th to 20th of October. On the 14th and 15th, we've still got the moon in Pisces, and it's still in your 7th house of relationships. So the same thing applies there. On the 16th and 17th, we've got the moon going into Aries, and that goes into your 8th house of institutions, and it sits on top of Chiron and the North Node in Aries. So these 2 days, the 16th and 17th, are great to heal any issues you've got with really formal things in your life. The visa application, or the rejection, or the rejection from a course and then and signing up for another one, or your finances or your taxes. It's a really good time to focus on that, and even in certain cases to speak to the organization to work out some sort of a plan. Like if you have an outstanding sum to pay and there's a deadline on it, it's better on those 2 days to call them up and to try and work out some agreement for a positive outcome than to certainly ignore it. And other times, even if you did confront it, it may not work out well or the way you would want it to go. 16th and 17th are likely to help you in healing some sort of stress or wound like that in your life. On the 17th particularly, we have a full moon in Aries, and that happens next to your Chiron in that 8th house. So take the initiative, be confident, face those kind of things head on. You will be able to resolve one or two or several of them. Also on the 17th, Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, that ingresses into Sagittarius and it goes into your 4th house. So again, I want to explore new people and new places. I want to find a new home. I want to find a new place where I feel at ease. I want to connect with someone or something that isn't a reflection of where I'm at this point in my life. So you're really self-actualized in terms of your relationships and what you interact with, because you don't want to settle for anything that is unrewarding or a bad fit. You want it to work, and it can work by making these changes. On the 18th and 19th, the moon goes into Taurus. That's a great time for you, Virgo, to go be out in nature or to go on an actual physical trip, to go somewhere new, to connect with the land, the earth, to connect with your body, or even to learn something about your body. But those 2 days are really good for you to kind of rest and recharge and to take it easy and to let yourself be inspired. On the 20th, the moon goes into Gemini in your 10th house, and that is really, really good as far as your work is concerned. So especially if you're working as a creative type or as a writer, a copy editor, or anything to do with communication, transportation, is massively supported. But also if you're trying to get into some sort of organization, it's a wonderful day to do that. So in this 3rd week, the moon goes through your 3rd quadrant, houses 7, 8, and 9. So this is really about formal connections to collaborators, business partners, educational facilities, and really seeing what it is you can do to improve those and to build a genuine connection from nothing, from scratch. Week 4, Monday to Wednesday, the 21st to 31st of October, we start the 21st with the moon still being in Gemini, so you're still massively supported in terms of your career. But also it's next to Jupiter, which is good luck, right? And if you have to say anything, or if you want to make a proposal at work, and you would say, oh, it's lucky that this was picked up or that they agreed upon this, do it on that day. You're likely to have almost an unfair outcome because it's so biased towards you in a positive way. So anything that's a little risky or could go either way, do that on the 21st of October for best results. The moon then goes into Cancer on the 22nd and 23rd, and that is in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. So that may be that you've decided to let go of certain things in your relationships to what you love, things that are no longer appropriate and that you no longer want to engage with. But you may find that you get a blast from the past, like someone, an ex or a friend you've had no contact with, that they may call you up and try and reconnect. I really think that's obviously something to judge on a case-by-case basis, but because it's between Mars in Cancer and Hades in Cancer, I think this is just kind of your shadow self trying to pull you back into something that's less than healthy and ideal. Whereas if you keep that space open in your life, it's likely that someone or something better comes into it. So I would be very cautious about letting people back in if you've already, had that kind of incident before where you broke up or you stopped contact for a reason. On the 22nd of October, the sun goes into Scorpio, and that's in your 3rd house of communication next to Mercury, and you're transiting midheaven both in Scorpio. So that's interesting because I think you're going to find some sort of deeper understanding about something that you know, and that's the root cause for a particular area that's been chaotic in your life, whether that's work or relationships. But it's really a day of personal understanding, being like the hermit who becomes enlightened and understanding something about yourself and why it has the results that it always has in your life, like becoming aware of some sort of personal dynamic that causes a result that you don't want. On the 24th and 25th, we've got the moon now going into Leo, and that's in your 12th house of spirituality. So this is like your inner child comes to life and wants to say thank you for all these positive changes you've made. So that's another day to really treat yourself to something, or to take time off, or to do something chill and quiet that you enjoy, and to just feel this sense of pride and inner warmth. Look at how far I've come. On the 24th, the moon is in its fourth quarter and it's waning towards being the new moon on the 1st of November, right? And the moon here is in Leo in your 12th house. So there may be this quiet sense of acceptance or appreciation for one of your gifts and talents that you may not have paid attention to in the past. And it comes through in a subtle, easy, calm way, like a present that enriches you. And it's like, I know this about myself. It's a good thing. Therefore, we can celebrate this and use it in future. So something really good becomes very clear to you. Where are we? 24th and 25th, the moon is in Leo. Then it goes into your sign of Virgo on the 26th, 27th, and 28th. And again, those are 3 days where everything is likely to go your way and you're likely to be right. So if you find yourself in disagreement with other people, just because you're the only one who has a different opinion, don't let yourself be bullied into changing your opinion or considering it too much. Out of the month, if there's something to be interpreted and made sense of, you're at the peak of your powers, intellectually and intuitively. So I think you'll be feeling well in your own skin. Things will be going nicely, but really, really trust and stick to your judgment around that time. And then on the 29th, 30th, and 31st, we've got the moon in Libra. And again, that's in your second house of money. So it's an opportunity to make a connection with a different employer, a different company, to heal something about your finances, or to improve a situation that makes you feel stuck and it makes you feel like it's not good for you. You're able to find another alternative and connect with the right person. Or even, it doesn't have to be a person in this case. It could be like the right job advert, or you pick up the phone because you've known this company and you've got a contact, or something like that. So Halloween, the 31st of October, you've got the moon in Libra. So I think you're going to be quite serious around this time. I think you've done all this work, you've got yourself organized, but your sun and the midheaven and Mercury in Scorpio. So I think for you, Virgo, like doing something that's kind of scary, like watching a horror film, or going to those what are those? Not an escape room, but those, they put you through this gauntlet, right? It's like dark and then people jump out at you and like with knives and it's all a gag and blah, blah, blah. That kind of thing I think might be really fun for you. Like giving yourself a little bit of a spooky kind of, yeah, try it out. If you're into that, you'll love it. If you haven't done it, I think with the Sun and Mercury in Scorpio, you may have an appreciation for that this time around. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to audio reading with me. To draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time, then please order a chart rectification with me. That's a process where I work out your time of birth and it makes the chart much more accurate. It changes every 4 minutes. I also make videos on the new moons, full moons, eclipses, and I do a daily tarot reading on this channel. So if you want to watch that, if you want to join me every day, then please become a member of the channel. That would be great. I hope you have a fabulous October, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.